Thank you so much for joining us for our webinar today on the Strategic Services Institute. We just wanted to give you guys an overview of the program to help address your questions and your decision-making about attending the program. And my name is Elisa Holder, and I am Director of Business Development for our Executive Education and Corporate Partnership team here in the W.P. Carey School of Business at ASU. And it's my great pleasure to introduce to you our two presenters today. One is Thomas Holman, and Thomas is on the marketing faculty here at the W.P. Carey School of Business. And he also serves as the executive director of our Center for Services Leadership here in the W.P. Carey School. And he has spent many years in industry, as well as consulting in the services and customer experience space, as well as serving as a faculty director of this program. And then Gwen Ortmeyer, we also have on this call. And Gwen serves as the coach for this program. She is a former Harvard and Columbia faculty member and a very seasoned consultant in the whole world of customer experience. So she's going to be the person working with you on applying what you're learning to the service challenge that you're coming in with at the Strategic Service Institute. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Thomas to lead us through the presentation.
Thank you very much, Elisa. And I'm going to share my screen here. And if you cannot see it, please let me know. I am really excited today to talk to you about the Strategic Services Institute. We are the Center for Services Leadership at Arizona State University, and I am the executive director for the center. My name is Thomas Holman. I'm going to spend just a moment talking about the center itself so you have an idea who is putting on the program, and then I'll jump right into the institute itself and provide an overview of that. So just for a short moment, let's talk about the center. We have been around for a while, over 35 years, and we bring two groups together. One group is academic faculty. We have over 85 faculty network members worldwide. Those are the leading researchers on the topic of services. And on the other side, we have our member companies, and we're bringing those groups together to try and figure out how to grow service businesses, how to manage them, how to market them, how to do the operations of them. And these two groups have been working together for over 35 years to advance the knowledge and the practice of services. Now, on the member company side, at any given time, we have about 30 members. In our 35 plus years, we have had over 150 members. And as you look over some of these companies here, you'll notice that we have a wide variety of industries represented, from pure services, like currently, for instance, Starbucks and State Farm are part of our member group, to companies that are more industrial based, like companies that we've working with for a long time, Honeywell, Lenovo, and others. So we've got a wide variety of member companies and a great group of faculty coming together. And we do three things. Number one is networking, bringing those groups together in a variety of formats. Number two is education. We do executive education and professional education, and we are providing a variety of programs, including the one we'll talk about today. And the third part of what we do is thought leadership. So we've got great faculty, great industry experts. We bring them together to try and figure out answers to new problems and new answers to old problems. With that, let's go right to the Services Institute. Our institute has also been around for over 30 years now. It is an in-person program here on our campus, Tempe, Arizona. The next program for this year is end of February 26 to 29. So the whole thing is a wonderful opportunity for individuals, but also very much for teams to come together and work on problems. We'll talk about that in just a second. Now, the Institute is built around four parts. One part of that is in-class meetings. So we have faculty presenting you with what we call the mini MBA in services. But the other part of that is that we have projects that teams are working on, or individuals, but teams are really recommended. So projects that teams are working on with the help of an executive coach. And you've already seen Gwen just a second ago. We'll get back to Gwen in a moment. So these four pieces come together. Let me talk about the class side of this first, and then we'll go to the project side. On the class side, we have really two modules that we're working through. Each of those modules are 2 days. Those are full days from 8:30 to 5 or 6. And the teams are working on their projects sometimes beyond that, or teams are sometimes using the opportunity for team building and going out in the evening as a group. Now, as far as the content of those two modules, the first module is about service management, where we bring together really the baseline knowledge around how to manage and operate and market services. That starts with defining service excellence, then how to make that become a reality by designing it in the right way, and then turn it into something that actually works for customers and employees alike by implementing it. The second module then takes a broader lens and says this all is, of course, a wonderful tool set and a wonderful set of frameworks, but we have to frame that in a larger problem world. So how do we advance this service now and turn us into leaders in the field? So in the second module, we talk about service innovation. We talk about how to engage various stakeholders and how to create change. I'll give you a little bit of more detail around each of those, but not going to do a full rundown today, but give you a sense of some of the topics that are here. As I mentioned, it's all about tools and frameworks that you can apply immediately, either as an individual or as a team. I mentioned the teams. Gwen's going to talk about them more, but the teams can actually use the tools and frameworks that they are learning immediately on the projects that they are working on. Now, in terms of that first module, our service management overview, we have a number of foundational topics that we cover. For instance, how to think about services, why services are so hard to manage, how to close the gaps that we experience or that the customers experience with services. One of the tools that is probably the most popular one is the service blueprint. So we've got a whole afternoon built around service blueprinting and learning that tool that allows you to understand services and service processes better. Then we have other topics in that service management module around the customer, managing the customer, around service recovery, what happens when things go wrong, and other topics. In module 2, where we talk about advanced service leadership, we are talking about topics like unleashing service growth through innovation. We're talking about service culture and how to create that and foster that. We're talking about change management and other topics as well, including, of course, the digital transformation, including AI robots, and all the wonderful topics that have come up in the last 4 years, stronger than they even were before. So that gives you a sense of the classroom side of things, where we have faculty talking about all of these topics and bringing those tools and frameworks that the field has developed to bear for your organization and your projects. Now, let's talk about those projects a little bit more. And for that, I'm going to turn it over to Gwen Ortmeyer. Alisa was already so kind to introduce Gwen a little bit. So Gwen, I'll turn it over to you and let you talk about the projects and the coaching side of the Institute.
Great. Well, one of the big aspects of can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. One of the big aspects of the program is the ability to work on a service challenge in your company that you think you can really make a big dent into that service problem and start to address that service problem. And so teams and individuals bring to the program something that they'd like to work on for the week and try to make some headway with that challenge. It could be an opportunity like going into a new market. It could be one of our service offerings is not getting the uptake we think it should. So let's think about redesigning or what we need to do to make it better. It could be a problem with an existing service that we need to map out and figure out how to improve on that existing service. So it really ends up being what you want to work on to improve your own business. And my job is working with the teams that come to the session to help them use the tools and concepts and whatever else I might have in my toolkit to help them address that challenge. You will have time during the week on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in the afternoon, about 2 hours and more on certain days, if you want to work into the evening to address that challenge. And the teams will also be scheduling appointments with me, half-hour appointments, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, so that I can coach a little bit on the program. Projects can come from any function, marketing, operations, human resources. We've often had teams, for example, come that are interested in an internal process like service, like onboarding new employees, and they say it's just not working well. Can we look at that issue and try to improve on that? Strategy might be looking at a new market opportunity that you want to go after and seeing market service opportunity you want to go after and seeing what it would take to actually excel in that service. And process improvement, of course, is an existing service, trying to improve on that process. So some examples that you can see there that have worked in the past really well, meaning teams have made a lot of progress and have gone back to their organization and done presentations, implemented some of the ideas and strategies they come up with in the 4-day program. Some examples are trying to improve the delivery of an existing offering. Maybe you've tried to change an in-person or by phone service to a digital version, but you haven't gotten very good adoption. Why, and what can we do differently? How do we manage our service staff as we transform? What do we need to do differently in that regard? And then maybe you're a product company and you want to introduce some value-added services and you want to think more carefully about that. The idea is to bring a challenge and then use the concept and tools to help you make progress on that challenge so that when you go back, you have something that you can do the next week to improve your business. My coaching, when I spend the time with the teams, sometimes I can offhand do a little bit of coaching with individuals as well. It depends on how many teams we have in the program. I help the teams define and scope the project. I help the teams decide which tools and frameworks to apply and when. Typically, the resources we have in the program, the people coming in to share their insights, the lectures and so forth, it's often the case that the teams need a little bit of somebody's time, like Thomas's for market research, for example, but others as well. So I'm the conduit by which we make those connections as well. At the end of the week, when you've sort of thought about what you'd like to do differently, what your strategies and what you need to implement, I tend to give some advice on project management and change management as well as you'll see stuff in the program, some lectures talking about that as well. So a lot of teams have done a really good job at coming out of the program with an action list of things they want to do when they get back. And that's my hope as you think about this part of the program.
Great. Thank you so much, Gwen. Gwen's been our executive coach for a good number of years now. Great experience, as Alisa mentioned, Harvard Business School, has been an executive coach for companies for many years. So she's a wonderful go-to star for helping teams really move their projects forward, either jumpstart a new project or take a project that has stalled a bit and figure out how to move it forward. We also have a social aspect of this program so that teams can do a little bit of team building and get to know people from other companies as well. So we have, of course, during those 4 days, we have times for coffee breaks, lunches, and so on, where we can do that. But also we have a reception on Monday and a dinner on Wednesday, where we go and have that time to maybe bring our networks to bear or grow our networks over time as well. So that's an overview of the program as such. You know, our next program is running this year in February, end of February, February 26 to 29. And with this, I am going to turn it back over to Alisa.
All right, this is a great time. If anybody out there has questions that you'd like to go ahead and pose to Thomas or Gwen about either the content itself or the projects that you have in mind, you could actually even use this time to run the project by Gwen and see if that's, that's going to be a good fit for the program.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
All right, perfect. Name's Dave Strohmeyer. I'm the manager of branch strategy at Salt River Project. And a couple of one is kind of an overview of a project that we're looking at. We've been putting together kind of a mini cohort to work on the project. So one is a question, The cohort has kind of grown. It's a cross-functional group across the organization. And currently that team right now stands at about 7, which I had a little bit of concern that it might be too big of a group for this particular type of effort. So I don't know if you have any insight on group size, so that I can kind of manage that accordingly.
I'll pass it on to Gwen. My observation, I guess, for many years here is that we've had groups of just about any size. So we've had groups of 2, we've had groups of 10, but I'll pass it over to Gwen.
I think, a group of 7, if you chose to come, would be fine. If a lot of the teams use a tool called blueprinting, where you're mapping out either an existing service that needs work or mapping out what a new service would be required. Not all the teams, but some of them do. If that's the case, cross-functional is great. 7 people is fine. And I don't think, I'm not going to be in the room with you facilitating the whole time. 7 gives you a good opportunity to break up and piecewise the work and do different things. And so I don't necessarily think that 7 is a problem. I think cross-functional is great because the tools that we'll be discussing and applying and the concepts are even better when you look at a cross-functional team, both in doing the analytics of it, but also in the implementation of it. And change management of it. There's a whole bunch of reasons why that's a good thing. So I'd encourage you to think about the cross-functionality. It can really make a difference.
Yeah, and so the challenge that we're bringing to this, it's something that we've kind of been working or fumbling on, I should say, for the last several months, cross-functionally, and so trying to use this as a mechanism to spark. We have product managers within the organization for certain specific products, and we don't have that type of same product management ownership more broadly across some of our, say, legacy products or services. So one, we're trying to look to more broaden that and identify what that really looks like, even within the existing product manager kind of roles, responsibilities. There might be a lot of variation. So how do we apply that more broadly? And then we have a use case that we're looking to implement in one of those legacy products as kind of a mechanism for understanding how we can more broadly adapt kind of those roles, responsibilities, et cetera, blueprinting that experience, as well as how that voice of the customer really fits into the model. So
Go ahead.
I'll jump in with just a short thought here. All of what you described is really a perfect fit for what we're doing in the Institute, where it's really about bringing that cross-functional and broader lens to it. Sometimes teams get stuck because they just don't know what tool to use, and we help with that. But sometimes teams get stuck because it's such a broad topic or such a broad area, and they just don't know how to get their arms around that. And really, the Institute is designed for both of those. And so if your point as well, you've been working on it for a few months. We have a lot of team that come like that, where they've been working on a project for a little while and just can't seem to be getting off the ground. And really that time with the support of faculty, with the support of our executive coach, Gwen, can really jumpstart that and move it beyond and get the team to come together.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I'll pass it back to Alisa.
Okay. And then, just wanted to see before we close, are there any other questions from the group? No? Okay. Well, with that, thank you all very much for coming. We really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And we are just more than happy to, just guide you and direct you as you make this decision about who to bring to the program and what problem you want to face as you move forward. So thank you all for being part of this.